Crucial decisions are taken for one of the poorest countries in the world under the roof of this glamorous hall, Geneva Conference, and a pledge of almost $13 billion for Afghanistan.
We meet today in Geneva.
The conference is held in the popular city of Geneva in Switzerland at a time when Europe is grappling with corona pandemic, which was the reason why the conference was held virtually on the 23rd and the 24th of November.
This pledging conference provides a momentous opportunity to translate political support into strong and predictable funding.
The conference is jointly organized by Finland, another European country, Afghanistan, and the United Nations. Afghan Foreign Minister Hanif Atmar and Finance Minister Abdulhadi Arghandiwal visited Geneva and co-chaired the conference physically.
It's my pleasure to warmly welcome you all to this ministerial conference, providing us a historic opportunity.
The event starts with a welcome message by the Finnish Foreign Minister. In this conference, representatives from 70 countries and 30 organizations delivered their speeches. With more than $1.2 billion, European Union emerged as the top contributor. EU representative emphasized that the aid is conditional and that the Afghan government should use it to ensure women's rights, address refugees' problems, fight against corruption, and strengthen democracy.
I would like to reaffirm today the European Union's commitment to continue to support Afghan people, both politically and financially. We want to help to build a sovereign, unified, and democratic Afghanistan on a path towards prosperity and self-reliance.
Austria also reaffirmed its commitment to continue to support Afghanistan. Austrian Secretary General for Foreign Affairs, whose message was played at the conference, said that Austria had provided €10 million in aid to Afghanistan over the past 4 years.
Austria is committed to continue its contribution in this vein. We furthermore believe that a permanent and comprehensive ceasefire is essential, as well as a continued commitment to democracy, the rule of law, and human rights as an inclusive Afghan-led and Afghan-owned peace process. In this context, Austria would also like to thank Afghanistan for the past cooperation with regards to the EU-Afghanistan Joint Way Forward Agreement, for which a follow-up agreement is currently under negotiation. A swift conclusion would be very much welcomed by Austria.
Germany also stressed on cessation of violence in Afghanistan and pledged to continue to support Kabul in order to ensure democracy and women's rights.
We are ready to enter into a renewed partnership until the end of transformation decade in 2024. This partnership depends on Afghanistan's commitment to democracy and the rule of law, to good governance and the fight against corruption, to the protection of human rights, especially the rights of women and minorities, and to the political will to move forward in the peace process and not to play for time. It is in this spirit of mutual responsibility that we will provide up to €430 million in civilian assistance for the coming year. And we intend to maintain this level until 2024 if conditions allow.
Access of children, especially girls, to education, immediate cessation of violence, fight against corruption, and resolving challenges faced by refugees were among key topics discussed during the two-day conference. UN Secretary General praised countries' pledges for Afghanistan and reiterated that women and children are the main victims of violence in the country.
The Afghan people have suffered for far too long. I urge the redoubling of efforts towards an immediate and conditional ceasefire in order to save lives and prevent the further spread of COVID-19. This will create a conducive environment for the Afghanistan peace negotiations in Doha, a major opportunity to realize the long-held aspirations of the Afghan people. An inclusive process in which women, young people, and victims of conflict are meaningfully represented offers the best hope of sustainable peace.
Italy stands by Afghanistan.
Other European countries, including Italy, France, Norway, Netherlands, Denmark, Britain, and Sweden, also made new pledges for Afghanistan.
I'm therefore pleased to announce today that the United Kingdom is pledging up to £155 million of development funding for 2021.
The United States, however, conditioned its aid to Afghanistan to progress in peace talks. U.S. Secretary of State said that half of the $600 million pledged is conditional on the progress in the peace talks.
The United States remains committed to our own enduring partnership with Afghanistan and to helping these negotiations be successful. So too must all our countries and organizations help to maintain and advance gains achieved since 2001. Those gains include Afghanistan's adherence to the rule of law, respect for its international obligations, and inclusive, transparent, and accountable governance. We must also emphasize the importance of respect for the rights of all Afghans, including women, youth, and minority groups. I want to be clear that the choices made in peace negotiations will affect the size and scope of future international support and assistance. The United States looks forward to reviewing progress in the areas I mentioned in 1 year's time.
Russia also emphasized on reduction of violence, calling on the international community's attention to eliminating Daesh in North Afghanistan.
We are committed to promoting intra-Afghan talks in the Troika Plus format with the participation of Russia, the United States and China, as well as Pakistan. Other partners may also be invited to engage in that work at a later stage. Upon the successful completion of the negotiating process, the international community will be required to take active steps to facilitate the development of post-conflict Afghanistan. Russia, on its part, will be prepared to provide relevant support in various areas such as combating terrorism and drug-related crime, military technological cooperation, specialized and civic training of Afghan citizens, and provision of humanitarian assistance, as well as industrial and infrastructural projects of mutual interest.
Asian countries including Japan, India, Pakistan, Iran, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, and Turkey also made financial or political pledges of support to Afghanistan over the next 4 years.
We continue our long-standing commitment to the people of Afghanistan.
Thanking the international community for its attention, Afghan First Lady Rula Ghani emphasized on the importance of its support to women and children in Afghanistan.
You and us, we all want peace. And we know that in any peace negotiation, there is a cost that is implied. But there are some principles we are not ready to forego. Do you think that a peace that does not guarantee basic rights and women's participation will be just and durable?
President Ghani referred to the sacrifices made by the international community in Afghanistan. He said that his government has new plans for spending the aid over the next 4 years. He added that violence has been a major obstacle to implementation of development projects and is challenging the rights of women and other citizens as well.
We ask you, our international partners, to help us do more with less. Over the past several years, our population has changed. The capabilities and capacities of our people have developed. Our challenges have changed. Our access to resources have changed. So too, the approach to our partnership must evolve. Financial resources, aid, will continue to be critical to our growth for the foreseeable future, even as we've balanced that dependency markedly over the past 6 years by substantially increasing government revenues that now constitutes around 15% of the GDP. We are grateful for your continued support and partnership. Aside from conventional aid pledges, we are also focused on securing forms of financial insurance and guarantees that would help actualize our regional connectivity agenda, particularly in the energy and transport sectors.
Geneva Conference is the latest in a series of donor conferences on Afghanistan. The first was hosted by Tokyo in 2012, while the second was hosted by Brussels in 2016. The international community has totally pledged $30 billion for Afghanistan and 2 other conferences. Half of the aid is spent through the Afghan government budget, while the other half is spent independently according to the needs and suggestions by the Afghan government. However, there are serious criticism that the aid is not spent properly and that there has been no major change in the living condition of Afghan people. For instance, when foreign donors were announcing new pledges for Afghanistan on the 24th of November, Kabul was without electricity and most of its citizens were in darkness and did not even know that this aid was for prosperity and change in their living condition.